you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Let's go.
Scroll down, okay.
So if I asked you like what an abbreviation means, you might know.
I might know, yeah, which one?
It says MY. Yeah, no, I think I'm good. Today, right in the middle of my final season, I decided I was gonna look at my admissions file. If you are new to this channel, my name is Hannah. I am a sophomore at Yale University, majoring in political science and religious studies, and also getting a Spanish certificate. So that is just like a little bit of my Yale profile. If you have watched my videos before, you know that, you know, I try to say, like, you know, there isn't this one stereotype that just gets into Yale. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. You don't have to be like complete genius. But with that being said, it's still all kind of a game of chance, and it's really just, you know, what happens that year. So yeah, I kind of market myself on this channel as a very average student who kind of just did my best and ended up getting into Yale, and thank God for that, because I have truly found such an amazing community here and couldn't imagine my college experience any other way at any other college. So I'm really blessed to be here. And today I will tell y'all, I took some notes because we were not allowed to like screenshot anything, but yeah, it was basically a Zoom meeting. It had my comment app, and then below it kind of all the comments that people made. I had an interview with a senior here on campus instead of like an alumni interview. So I have their report, I have some email exchanges, and 2 reviewers looked at my file. It seems as though the first reviewer was just like the first round, and then after, you know, that first round of reviews went, it looks like my file went into something called the diversity bin. So that's where it says that my like second reviewer got my file from. I will basically explain what I saw in my file notes and then give a little summary at the end. Okay. This is my breakfast, so first things first, my senior interview report. So first I saw a rating from her, and she rated me 3. I don't really know on what scale, but I said 3 average. And in quotes, I wrote down like exactly what she said. I do not have a clear impression of the role she will play. So, you know what? I don't really know. I'm just an ambassador for Christ. But yes, I was rated average by my senior interviewer, which it was like surprising, because I thought she really liked me, because I had a good interview from what I remember. So later she had this like 5-paragraph like essay explaining how the interview went. So I think she did rate me average, but then she like explained like she gave me a glowing like report in those 5 paragraphs. And some highlights that I will like mention is that she said it was apparent that I was shy, and yes, I am shy. This was also my first like college interview ever, so like I had no clue what to expect. I'd only been to like 1 job interview before, and so yeah, this was kind of scary. So apparently it showed. Apparently it was apparent that I was shy. Oops. And then she said though that she was impressed with how I powered through both high school and the interview because of that like shyness. She said that she was impressed how I powered through high school by, you know, joining debate and like doing things that would like get me out of my comfort zone so I can like be involved in the things that I'm more passionate about. And she also said she saw me like open up and like power through the interview, like even though like when she first like sat down with me, she thought it was gonna go like a completely different way and like I was gonna be shy, but then I was able to like really like hold the conversation and you know. And she said she was she noted how I brought together like all of my passions, and I think that's something that I tell people a lot, like if you're interested in like different things, like bring them together. I think that's important because it shows like how you're not just like doing whatever and just like pulled around, but that you're like a complete person. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Or like you saw me bring together my passions of language and politics. If like I was just doing things that weren't really connected, it might not make sense to like the admissions people of why I was like doing them. And so connecting them shows that I have a unique like relationship with like each one of these things, and so like bringing them together, I form like Hannah. Even though I strongly disagree with the fact that you're defined by the activities that you do, but like that's how they defined you on the report. Anywho, she used a lot of like things to describe how I talk, or like my eyes lighting up, or just me looking like very like excited. When I was talking about my ASL club, she said like she smiled brightly, and like I made a joke that like we were just learning about food, and it's like very elementary like sign language that I'm teaching people, but like you have to start somewhere. And so yeah, so she noted my like atmosphere, and she noted like how like, oh, like I'm smiling, or like I'm joking, and I'm like I was like this shy person, but I'm also able to like open up. And she asked about why I enjoy languages, and I was able to connect that to like political science and everything. And at the end she asked why Yale, and I answered with saying I want to interact with like a global atmosphere to be a better politician, right? Or to be a better, you know, whatever I am gonna be now, because it's not gonna be a politician. So she kind of just like summarized everything, but in a way that like it sounded really good, at least to me reading it. And I was like, wow, like this is someone who knows like what they want to do, type of thing. Yeah, so the first reviewer just summarized my extracurriculars and like some abbreviations. So then they made comments on the essays, and if you have watched my essays, you know like exactly what my essays say. If you watch my videos on them, they said for the first essay, like the Common App essay, that I was bragging. So I was like, oh great, like that's exactly like how I wasn't trying to come off. I was just trying to like explain a circumstance in my life, but came off as braggy. They said they noted that there was some interaction in the government, and there was some leadership in the brag. However, I was like, okay. They also called it a melodramatic. So I'm a drama queen. Yeah, they called it melodramatic. But they said it reveals initiative. One of the second like essay part, they didn't really clear it. Just was like essay 1, E1, E2, E3. E2 said they just noted that I love language, and then E3 I wrote about the civil war in Syria, which is funny because I just wrote a whole paper on like a whole like policy memo analysis thing on the refugee crisis in Syria. But yes, so, and they noted that I wrote about the civil war in Syria and how it really shows how I'm interested in politics and government. And then moving for that same reviewer, moving on to the recommendations, they noted that my humanities teacher said that they just noted like all of the adjectives she used to describe me. They said tenacious, hardworking, conscientious, lively, compassionate. They noted that my guidance counselor has only known me for a short time, and that one of my other recommenders found me shy as well. But they also all talked about my interest in politics and language. So that was something she also noted. And so yeah, I'm just seeing like so far my application is really just like people are just noticing the same thing consistently, which I think is good because it shows like that I'm like a consistent like person, and like these are the things that like these are like who I am as a student type of thing. And okay, so then just some general notes that they made. They noted that I was a first-gen low-income student and that I was local. So I think that was important to them somehow. Maybe demographics-wise, diversity-wise, because later I was in the diversity bin. But they said that I am a contender if I do well in the MY. And I asked the like proctor what that meant, and she said like mid-year. When they looked back on my like grades mid-year, senior year, then I'd be more of a contender. They also noted that I was taking 5 APs my senior year, which is like a lot. And they said that I have a softer ACT, which is like probably like meaning like I have a lower ACT score. They said that my APs are reassuring, which is something like I didn't really think of, because yeah, like when I think of like APs, I don't think of them for like balancing out like an SAT or an ACT, but like I guess they do. Then my second reviewer and my final reviewer, so it's from the diversity bin, and you know, maybe that means they're like checking for like what diversity points I have or something, and that gives me points because later he rated me like 2+ or something, like it gives me like 2 extra points or something for like my diversity. I don't know. The proctor lady says they have their own language. It was like focusing on like what sets me apart, I guess. They said that my involvement with Junta, which is like a nonprofit in New Haven, they work for the Latino community. I interned there for a summer, and we were just like registering people to vote, walking around New Haven, practicing Spanish. It was really chill thing, but they said that involvement gives me a leg up because it's New Haven based. So they said it works with La Casa Before, which is like one of the cultural centers here on campus, and also Professor Camacho, which I'll have to look up who that is. And so they were noting like that I have these like mini Yale connections, which maybe is something like that was setting me apart, because like other people can have Yale connections, right, with like being a legacy student or you know, doing some sort of Yale program, but I had these connections by like being a local. So this reviewer said that they didn't say that my writing was melodramatic, they said it was complex. So that there's a complexity to my writing. They also noted that my recommenders see me as an academic, which is interesting for me now because I do want to go into academia as like a profession. He also noted that they speak to a bond that like I have with them, which is good, shows my people skills. He said it's not form letters, which I take to mean like it's not like they didn't have like a template and they just filled it out type of thing, that they were actually like writing about me. I don't get to see those recommendations because I like waived my right to see them. Yeah, and they also noted how there was like an otherness of like another part of those recommendations that spoke to like my character. So like that I have character is important, and like that I'm nurturing and like compassionate and all of that. So that was a very interesting experience. I think my summary of it all would say that like what was important to them, I think, really was that like my character and my character development was like a big thing, that I was, you know, shy, but I was able to do these things, that I kind of, you know, have trouble like at first like with these like interpersonal interactions, but that I'm able to like form these deep bonds with my teachers, and I'm able to have an engaging conversation, and I'm able to like be a member and a leader in debate club and all those things, noting that I'm also like this one way, like I'm naturally shy, but I'm like pushing myself, I think was something that I saw kind of across all three parts of this file. I think also another big thing was my ability to connect the different aspects of my life and like the different things that I do. So like language and politics was the main thing that I did focus on in my application, and so that was also a main thing that they noted. Another big thing was my locality and being a local, being from New Haven County, and wanting to come to Yale and having like these mini connections to Yale, and the fact that I was, you know, involved in like FGLI things, and was also like involved in like nonprofits and in the area, that I am, you know, FGLI and Latina, was like something different, you know. But I think it was mainly because I was local to New Haven, so a different demographic that they wanted. And at the end it said likely nomination, no. So it was an unlikely thing for me to get into Yale, and that's really cool to know, because I think it really shows God's hand on everything, and, you know, just me ending up where I really, you know, needed to be. And yeah, I really see that in my time here at Yale, and, you know, whatever this says, I am super grateful that I got in. I don't see my value in the fact that I go here, so it's just really cool that I can see, you know, what people have thought about my essays, and like, yeah, me as a student, or when they're trying to analyze me. But yeah, that's my admissions file. I was not a likely nomination, and I got in. I think that if you're meant to get in, you will too. And I hope that you like this video and keep watching my channel. See you in the next one.